Well, hello and welcome to Zwift Live. This is our weekly community series, and happy holidays to everybody. We are out here covering Team INOX's winter tour. We've swapped days a little bit with the holidays being here to make sure we still get you some awesome community coverage. We'll be in with Team INOX's winter tour for this week and next week on Monday. Today, obviously, the 23rd, and also on the 30th next week. Team INOX, though, next week, the coverage will be December 30th. Same time, same place. You can go check out teaminox.it. You might have to do a little translation as it's an awesome Italian team. I had to do so for English, but definitely worth it as they have an awesome winter tour that is going to be running all the way through March. Plenty of stages in this winter tour. We're talking all the way through March 21st. Started last Friday, December 20th, actually. So going to be pretty cool, pretty awesome that they are putting these on for the community. In with me today is going to be none other than Dave Toll. Dave, how are we doing on this holidays?
Pretty good. Happy holidays. I think it's a little warmer here in Colorado than it looks like it might be over in Wisconsin here. But I love the fact that the Italians are going to be involved in the vibe out here today with Team INOX. So really, really excited about this. Long, hard day of racing. Lot to talk about as well. We've got FTS and FAL. Kind of feels like a ZRS throwdown. Some good WTRL action out here with so many different things to race for. It's been a big, big part, I think, Nathan, of the success is keeping everybody in the mix.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the course today. Then we'll talk a little bit about the league standings as well. The course is going to have the village sprint, the country sprint, the Shisha sprint, the tide pool sprint, and the flatland loop finish for finish line points. They're going to be swapping off between FAL and FTS today. The first one, the village sprint, will be FTS. Then the second one, the country sprint, will be FAL. So first, fastest through segment on that village sprint. First across the line on the country sprint. The Shisha sprint, which has a little bit of a climb coming up into it, that one is going to be actually FTS, which makes it really interesting the way that they're going to have to go after that. Then the tide pool sprint will be FAL, and then we're talking about the finish line, which is going to be a little uphill, Dave. That's a tough one to manage.
Yeah, it really is. Nathan, what I find fascinating about this series, now it is 21 races that they do in the winter tour. We're only at the second stage or second day of racing. But have we ever seen, Nathan, FTS points offered up without a parallel FAL? Right? I can only imagine the dynamic will be bananas when you look at, fastest through segment. Typically, you want to sag that a little bit, starting at the back of the group and working your way through using the draft to get the fastest time. But if you have everybody doing the same thing, because the reason that works a lot of times is because you've got riders going for FAL, first across the line points as well. So an FTS by itself seems very unique to me.
That's going to make some interesting tactics, that's for sure. And here's the thing.
The slowest start ever.
Right? I mean, you've got that village sprint, though. That village sprint is an interesting one to go at. You can come in with a lot of speed. So because of the way I don't know, that's going to be a tough one. And then the one at the top of Shisha, you just got done climbing. So are you going to climb it chill, kind of, and hold on to the back of the pack? Do you want to put people out a little bit? I mean, there's going to be some serious tactics here, I think.
Yeah, it's going to come back to, Nathan, the thing we've always said, racers make the race. And that's going to be the dynamic out here today as well. We'll see who wants to seize control. I have a feeling, though, that it's going to be a rough day in the saddle. I'm going to expect a lot of attacking early. It's not a huge field that we're starting with, so it's going to be every man or every woman for themselves, I think, by the time we get to that last scoring opportunity. So 5 different opportunities to score points in this format, but we've never seen anything like this before. It's going to be bananas.
And there's a lot of competitions within the 21 stages, actually, of the Winter Tour. They've put a lot of work into this. If you really like to get into the nitty gritty of how this competition plays out, everyone kind of has something to go for. They're going to have a timed rankings. Okay, there are time trials throughout it as well. This coming Friday has a Bologna TT time trial. Actually, there's points rankings for Sprint Jersey. There's sprinters rankings, there's points rankings, and then there's also climber rankings as well for KOM. So, pretty cool. And then with the amount of stages that there are, I have a feeling you can get involved at any time in the INOX Winter Tour. So if you haven't jumped in yet, there's still opportunity, I think, to be pretty competitive in those rankings. You head on over to teaminox.it to get more information on that. The riders are just about to take off on course. Let's take a quick look at the current timed rankings, though, before we jump in with them.
Yeah, what they're really doing, Nathan, is replicating over this winter tour a Tour de France with the sprint, the climber, the GC. So you've got time-based competitions, as you're saying, as well as points-based competitions. And this is the overall standings after what we'll call stage one, is KK on top of the table here with Mathieu de Smet 1 second back, and we are working on these second intervals here. Julian Hotias 3 seconds back, super stacked like cordwood here with Marcus Schweitzer 4 seconds back, Rasmus Bertelsen 5th, David Serra 6th, John Verm, there's a familiar name, the ESRT rider, sitting 8 seconds back. Nathan, that gives you a feel for the quality of this field. If you use him as your baseline, you realize, wow, it's a talented group. Scott Turner in at 8th, Tom Birkinshaw 9th, and then Nathan Penland rounding out our top 10. He's another one of those dangerous Dragons riders. So top 10 only separated by 9 seconds here as we head into the second day of racing. The INOX Cat A's are who we're looking at. It's country to coastal. Here we go. Nathan, taking a look at the peloton all together now. Gruppo Compatto, as they say, and pushing the pace on the front. Oh, I did want to note, Nathan, that the riders, as you said, a lot of this has been in Italian, which is, to me, extremely cool. The most romantic language in the world, I would say. And there's a romance to bike racing, even virtual racing, that is just undeniable. And on their Facebook page, I saw that they have a request for riders, if possible, to use some of the classic Zwift jerseys, actually, to designate you as the leader in that category, like that solid orange jersey. Yeah, that was all part of the Facebook page that I was looking at that was talking about that. But they're using existing in-game jerseys, Nathan, as their leaders' jerseys in the 4 categories that you talked about: sprint, climbing, and obviously our GC leader. And I'm pretty sure that GC leader, they're asking to wear an orange jersey. But I that was a request, not a demand.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like how they are looking to do the best that they possibly can with what's available right now to try and set that up so that you can get some recognition across there. Very cool to see. Well done by Team INOX. Now, we do see at the front here, Tim Sanders just right from the get-go setting a solid pace. Rue is there now from EX coming up and over the top. It's going to be Bishop there from Team Relentless. Relentless has shown up with a good amount of riders actually here. It looks like they're showing up in force. Bishop here at the front now, just covering moves, making sure nobody's able to get away anywhere.
Wahoo rider Mafat Tarek is here. He's another danger man without any doubt. Always someone I keep an eye on when someone hits the activate button. He always seems to be right there. But right now, how about the Argentinian Gonzalo Ruiz? And here comes an attack, Nathan. It looks like we're going to, actually, excuse me. This is going to be first point scoring opportunity that we're looking at here.
It looks to me, Grenier up and over the top, I have a feeling now. Is that going to be Grenier? Yeah, here we go. So Grenier versus Bishop now. I think this is what we have to look at. Pretty evenly matched. I think Bishop from Relentless might have something a little bit more.
12.7 watts per kilo, and that's not the strongest amongst these two. 13.7 watts per kilo there for Rentals. So, well, they'll be a big part of the conversation when it comes down to any of the, well, FTS, FAL, either way. They're going to be in the mix out here today.
Yeah, a little ways to go, actually, I think, before the village sprint. It does come up on the down here. Yeah, no, that's fine, Dave. Just a quick little reminder here, as you can see, that first one will be right where that green spot is, a little bit to the left of the blue dot, as you can see there on the lower right-hand side. They're coming up on it real quickly, though, here. It will be just a moment. I have a feeling with it being FTS, I think they're going to kind of lag this a little bit. I'm not sure we're going to see any attacks.
Fastest through segment versus first across the line. Anybody who's been following along with WTRL and ZRS is going to be really familiar with that lingo.
Sanders on the front, Mutant now pressing the pace a little bit. This is interesting. Maybe some of these riders, there is the reality that because it is open, right? This is an open race. There is a reality as well that some racers are just showing up for the stage on the day and getting a stage win. There is something to be said for that. There'll be racers out here just looking for the points, looking to do the full INOX series. And some of them are out here going, look, I just want to race the race and win the stage out here today. And that's all they're really caring about. So we may see some people let this go and not really be that concerned where you have a different race within the race.
I think it's fair, Nathan. I'm a stickler for details, right? And this is an omnium format, not a stage race format, to be technical. Then, if you don't have to do every day, you're not in a stage race, and it would be somewhat unfair. Well, or you've got some riders doing a stage race and some riders doing an omnium. But if you have an overall timed GC, if you miss a stage, you'd no longer be in that competition, at least.
It's a good point. That is a good point, actually. So now looking at McLagan here, Neil. And I agree 100%, Dave. That's a really good point. And it leaves a lot of room for opportunity, is what it does. It leaves a lot of room for opportunity to be involved. Is that Lennert Teugels? What? I didn't see him in the start list. What? This guy all of a sudden just shows up out of nowhere? That changes the conversation, Dave.
Wait, what? That will go down as a classic wait, what moment. Lennert Teugels, one of the all-time greats in esports racing. I'm sure he's tuning up for another big season of in real life racing ahead, Nathan.
He had a monster race yesterday. He just raced yesterday. I mean, wow, good to see him showing up here. And this is going to be interesting now that Teugels is in the conversation. Talk about hitters.
Absolutely. It makes me wonder, Nathan, is there anyone else that we've missed here as far as huge names? And, well, I mentioned Maffa a little bit earlier. Gonzalo Ruiz has been riding all over the front here. Impressive start to things. It's going to be not a ton of climbing out here, enough to keep you honest, over 34K of racing, Nathan. But today's really going to be about these intervals, the points, scoring opportunities, village, country, Shisa, tide pool, and then obviously the finish line.
Yeah, and we're about to hit the first little sprint point, and those who are going for those sprints, we're going to see a lineup. Now, they are calming way down, and I think that's exactly why, is because this being a points race, it's going to be all about fastest through segment here as we come into the village sprint. Look at how things have calmed right on down, Dave.
This is kind of what we were talking about. The standoff here is nobody wants to be the first to hit out, as that will almost guarantee that you won't win in the FTS. So we'll be looking for that segment start. It's always a gamble, isn't it? This is absolutely what esports racing is all about here.
Looking through here, maybe did we miss?
See, I think they already did it, Nathan.
Did they do it? Yeah, I'm going to double check here.
And I think I was right.
You might have been right. You might have been right. And I'm looking through here, and this would be another situation, Dave. You're starting to rack these up.
But if you go, every dog finds a bone. That's for sure. But
you're right. Grenier took the FAL on that. It looks like my mistake. That's 100% my mistake. Grenier took the FAL, followed up by Gonzalo Ruiz, then Jan Legoff, and then Cuba Sanders and Mafatarik. That was the FAL first over the line. The fastest time through the segment, Grenier took that actually, followed up by Jan Legoff, and then Marco Belushi, and then Marzio Vanoni, and then Kaj Emanuel from Team NL. That is going to be your FTS through there. So
that was village. We got country. for FAL. That's going
Yeah,
to be your standard
and J
sprint.
Dub is going for it here. He's getting into
So
a super tuck. Did you see that? Nice little super tuck on this 4%.
That's some Zwift craft. Yeah. Impressive job. So this might backfire, but it certainly has lit the fuse, and here we go. It looks like that's going to be Lennert Teugels making a charge. They're going to try to come over to the top, though. Nathan, this is going to be big points right here.
Bayan. Now Grenier on his wheel, holding tight. Will Grenier go for it here? I was chatting with Grenier right before this, actually, and he didn't know it was a points race till the last moment, jumping on in. And I wasn't sure if he was going to be all that interested. Looks like he plenty is with the arrow power up. And is Grenier suddenly calling Team INOX stages something he's doing over the winter? Because that's big points for him.
Michael in full effect right there. So maximum points at that FAL opportunity. Let's see what happens now. This dangerous moment, that counterattack is being brewed up right now. Nathan, looks like these guys are going to do a good job of covering these gaps. Very dynamic moment right after a big sprint like that. So again, that was FAL first across the line.
And Grenier actually has both. He's racked up both at this point. I'm looking at the Zwift Power Preems right now. He's got the fastest time for the village sprint, and he just took down the FAL for the country sprint. He's scoring left, right, and center. This guy knows what he's doing when it comes to a points race.
Absolutely. Now, here we go, Nathan. It looks like some team tactics may be coming into play here.
Well, we don't want to go all the way back there. That's not who we're looking for. Here we go. It's going to be Garavaldia from Team INOX on the front. INOX here looking to try and cover and kill anything, it looks like, just to make sure nobody's able to necessarily get away. Sanders from Mutant covering. Mutant with lots of jerseys up toward the front. And I'm wondering how Grenier is recovering as he sits on the back.
Garavaglia looking good here. That is the home team, the INOX kit there, the black and the green. But it looks like it's going to be Jan attacking now. They're stirring the pot out here, Nathan, but not too much to worry about for the hitters sitting back in the peloton. Just some spirited racing going on.
Yeah, Bishop likes to get away from Relentless now, making a little bit of a move. I've seen it timed. I've raced against him plenty, actually. And this guy, this is what he loves to do, is to get away off the front. Tarek now following it. He's also a rider who likes a breakaway situation. So, Smith, it looks like Trubowitz and Bishop, they're all from Relentless. Maffa Tarek is there as well. We'll see how it can go down, as they're going to calm right on down, though, it looks like, and not super interested in making this move stick.
All right. Well, these guys definitely going to be running at a high burn rate out here, Nathan. As you can see, they don't really back off too much out here. If you want to ride in this group, you're going to be sitting right around 4 and change watts per kilo. So even when they're not attacking each other, they're still keeping a high pace.
Yeah, now see, the thing here is the next spot that they really have to look forward to when it comes to the sprints is going to be the Shisa sprint. We've got a good amount of landscape before them, right? They're going to descend outside of the original Makuri Islands and down into the Urikazi section of the Makuri Islands. This is going to be interesting how they're going to descend. I have a feeling this things might calm right on down, actually, Dave, if these riders are only interested in the sprint section. And the next one being FTS. With how many points Grenier has scored so far, he might be not that interested to cover anything even. Would he just let something go because he's scored so many points so far?
Yeah, it's honestly really hard to make those kind of reads without seeing the points tables live to know what the tactics would be.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Dave. Well, but right now we do know that Grenier here currently on 20 and 20 if it is going to be the traditional point structure.
Right. And so I guess the question becomes, how have the other guys been doing? Is it close amongst a group of 3, or is he starting to open up a big advantage out here? I have a feeling that there's a few guys right there.
Yeah, I think Goff
Like
is
Lennert
from
Teugels.
FFZ, the Frenchy Fusion boys. He seemed to be going for it. So FFZ here with Goff, I think he currently took the second fastest time, and as far as first over line as well. Goff has been third and third. It looks like.
So there you go.
Yeah,
Right.
he's
The
in it.
difference
He's in
because
it.
of the linear point scoring means that third and third is really barely different than first and first.
Tarek now on the move.
Like
A little bit of a kick through the dirt there. Thomas from Hurd. Now this is 5 riders up front here, Dave.
Right, and the only name so I would be more concerned if Lennert Teugels' name was one of the 5 here. Nathan, it looks like they're going to shut that down. It is a good example of the aggressive racing that we're witnessing out here.
Relentless continues to do what they do. It looks like Mutant, though, up and over the top. Mutant versus Relentless is kind of the conversation out here, isn't it, as far as the team situation goes. INOX is there as well. Will they be able to challenge? They've got 3 riders as well, so we do see the Relentless jerseys at the back there. What would you call that color scheme, Dave, with the Relentless there? Do you see that on the right-hand side? I'll get us a close-up here on this. You got a name for this color scheme? I don't necessarily. I'm looking for help.
Not necessarily. I mean, I like it for sure. I would call. I mean, it's
unique.
Fits in the modern styling. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like if you saw that jersey, you would know that was in 2025, kind of thing. You know, the like just like that Yenzi jersey there, definitely feels like 2010 to me.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a really good point. We got 4, though, from Relentless still in this main pack. So Relentless, they've got numbers. Mutant, though, they've got 3, it looks like, with the green jerseys. That's who you're going to be looking out for when it comes to the kits out here.
Mutant, the green jerseys, and
J-Dub.
Black. That's a jersey we were just talking about here. J-Dub's got his act together here. Good clean look. Is Neil McLaughlin here going to shut that down? Another American, Charlie, moving up onto that wheel. Scotty the squirrel hat.
Look at his setup. Look at Charlie's setup. This, like, I gotta kind of do a little bit of fashion here because this is an interesting one here from the Galaxy Rider. He's got the white Tron, which is like a super
that's a level
exclusive,
100 unlock.
Super exclusive here. Look at this. And the
that is
Scotty
level
the squirrel.
100, right? Isn't that the only people that should have a white Tron? I believe I read that recently.
I thought that it was maybe because he has the Zwift ride.
Oh, do you have to have a Zwift ride?
Yeah, I think that might be what it is. I think it's a Zwift
You know
ride
what?
unlock because I'm a level 100 and I don't have that.
That's interesting. You know, I would wonder how you connect all of those dots, right? But I do believe you're correct, Nathan. Like, how do you prove that you have a Zwift ride?
It's got to have a key. It's got to have a key, I think, that goes through like a handshake that happens. We were talking about that on the Zwiftcast, which you just had an episode go out. And it tells me the protocols are there somewhere for those handshakes if we can get that going for this Tron bike. So,
well, if you're curious what Nathan is talking about, you can hear him discussing exactly that on the Zwiftcast that will be coming out this Tuesday. Very great interview with you.
1, 2, 3 INOX riders. So there's a little bit more team involvement.
The Belgian jerseys, Lennert Teugels. Or did I speak out of line?
No, he's got the BZR. He's there in the BZR on the
Yep.
left-hand side. You've got
Just
that.
wasn't seeing, there his name is. I wasn't seeing his name to correspond with his position in the group at that moment. I thought Lennert right there, though.
Let's do a little comparison here. If we can find Lennert in the rider nearby list here in just a moment. I wonder what kind of power profile we're talking. The current leader on the points versus a guy who might just want to win on the day, right? So, like, what can these guys... I mean, Teugels here. Look, the Grenier, though, dude, this guy is, I think, 80 kilograms or so. He's a big boy. You know, I TTT with Grenier a lot, actually. I ride with OMG often on the ZRL and stuff. The guy is a monster. But the reality of Teugels, I think, is coming in the 60s for the kilograms. And when it goes uphill, be on the watch out. Lennert Teugels at 5.8 for 20. I think that might be an underestimation even.
Yeah, raw watts-wise, Michael would be just an awesome team time trial teammate. The kind of guy you want on your squad for sure. Lennert Teugels is just a pure bike racer across the board. He doesn't have really an Achilles heel. And yeah, those numbers that you're looking at, that's, that you're looking at the top riders on the planet right now in esports when you're talking about Lennert.
It's a good point about Grenier, though. I love to have him on the flats and the TTT whenever we whenever we end up in a situation where we're going downhill or into the flats. We call him G. We're like G to the front, or he'll be like, all right, I roll through speed. And we just grab onto the G train, man. It's it's so
Mack
good.
Truck, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot to draft and a lot of power in the engine. Let's take a look at a group that's not giving anybody a breakout here today, Nathan. These guys have been racing hard all the way through, just around 34 total K, 5 different point scoring opportunities. Not only a couple riders have come out of this group, though.
And we're getting a couple of chats helping us out. Our Darth Volcanus over at chat letting us know Zwift Ride owners can get that white Tron. And I thought that might be what it is. So thanks a lot, Darth. Appreciate that. As a little bit of a push for Mutant, as you can see, the separation taking place it's a great place to do it. Coming off of that, this specifically here on the Mech Island loop section of Yurikazi, after you hit that dirt, and then you come off onto the little bridge, the wooden bridge there, you can gain a lot of speed into this downhill, and it can cause some separation. It's a good little roller coaster section where people are going slower because of the dirt. You can get a good speed differentiation and make a good attack through here on Mech Island. And it tends to be tough to hold on to wheels through here because it does wind a little bit. So it looks like Ruiz is taking full advantage of that. Maffa's there as well. Grenier looking to go across now to a little bit of a gap. It's only 1 second or so. With the Shisa Sprint climb coming up, not sure it's going to get a whole lot of traction because of the attentiveness of the group.
Grenier going across, but he's actually basically dragging the entire group with him here, as we'll reset things one more time.
It was actually, excuse me, I'm sorry, that was INOX that covered their own move. My bad. Grenier was sitting at the back being smart about the whole situation, as well as Teugels, it looks like. Now Teugels, though, goes over the top. Is this a real move? Or,
this might be it.
I mean, what's going on here? Lennert Teugels, 7.7 watts per kilogram after everybody gets put into the hurt lock. And Relentless coming across. Bishop likes this move.
Yeah, let's see what we've got, folks. This might be the beginning of the end for our peloton. Lennert Teugels doesn't just hit out for no reason at all. I don't feel like he's 100% committed to this, but he seems to be 93% committed, hanging in the middle of the 7 watts per kilo range, touching up on 8 every now and then. What he is doing is putting a whole bunch of guys into the hurt box here, Nathan. It might be a split of 7 riders going clear, so Teugels lights the fuse. Not necessarily the atomic bomb, but Gadro is there, the South African. Few more coming up to join. Bishop, Nathan, as you mentioned, Tim Sanders is there. It looks like Neil McLaughlin is there. Gonzalo Ruiz hasn't missed a step out here today, so the Argentinian trying to get up there. Yeah, boy, there's a big, big moment. Ruiz over the top.
Ruiz making a little bit of a move over the top, it looks like, here of the attack by Lennert Teugels, pushing a solid 580 or so for just a moment. Up, down on those watts a whole lot. It looks like, is he going to be covered? McLaughlin here now just letting it go. Nobody, it looks like, too interested in making the chase. Now Teugels says, look, I know that that's going up the road. That's exactly what I'm looking for, and now makes the move. Ruiz actually now backing off. I don't know if that was just because it was too much, or I mean, this is what Teugels wants, though. I have a feeling he's here for the workout and the win. I think that this is about, for him, training. It's about, I don't know if he's doing the whole winter tour. Perhaps he is. That'd be really cool if he is, actually. We'll be able to see him next week, perhaps. But I have a feeling this is about a training race for him, and he wants to go from this moment to the finish line and have the motivation of being chased by a pack to get him the best workout he possibly can get.
I think, Nathan, you're exactly right. You, if you're in this race, have just unwittingly become a sparring partner of one of the best heavyweight racers on the planet right now, Lennert Teugels. And Nathan, I don't think that Lennert is necessarily gearing his year around winning the winter tour. He's got some big fish to fry this year, getting a great workout in against a quality field. And yeah, I'm not calling these guys a punching bag, but what they're feeling is a heavyweight going big right now. Lennert Teugels, the Belgian, who, Nathan, if you go back, it's probably about 3 years ago when Lennert Teugels made his definitive welcome to Zwift attack. It was a over minute gap that he put into I'm going to say that it was a Zwift Grand Prix level field that he attacked, soloed away, and won. And ever since then, Lennert Teugels has been a known quantity. I don't know if I'm a racer in this peloton now that I'm going to commit myself to chasing Lennert Teugels back. You want to make this into somebody else's problem.
Bayan, Electric Spirit Co., McLagan, it's all of these riders. Chasing. They're trying. Look, he's still there. He wouldn't be in sight if they weren't chasing at this point here. Bayan from Electric Spirit up and over the top now. He's getting a little more distance, though, here. Now they are backing off, it does look like to me. This doesn't look 4.3 as Teugels continues on. So you're right, actually, here. Now he uses the aero power up through this section here. He's fully committed, it looks like, to this break happening now as we see him pressing up into 6-7 watts per kilogram again.
Yeah, it's letting the air out of a balloon, Nathan. It goes out in spurts, right? Not everybody gives up at the same time, but once you look around and realize that other riders aren't chasing, that they're not swinging their sledgehammer, it certainly takes your desire to keep swinging away, and that's exactly how a monster operates. Lennert Teugels knows that mentally he will crack them if he keeps this up for another minute or so. They'll start racing for second.
7 seconds now. Will continue to go out. 5.6, 6.5 continues on. We can see here it does flatten out right about now. Now, this is going to be interesting because through here, this is FTS, fastest through segment. Some of the riders behind are actually holding up to try and grab these points.
Well, it's interesting. Watch, just like the watts per kilo, Lennert sitting at, around 6.5 watts per kilo, where you don't see anybody else even touching that level back. Now you do. And, it's going to be interesting. Look at that surge coming from Mike Morse here.
Morse is actually all in, it looks like, here for that fastest through segment. Mike Morse, nicely done. I think he got that. He went from the back of the pack all the way to the front and got a gap, actually. So nicely done. Teugels, though, up ahead. They all kind of sprinted for that one. Galaxy coming through. Are they going to? Yeah, that's the big question is how much do they sit up and how much speed differentiation are we going to get here as Teugels continues on? We got to get a good look here at what the speed differentiation is.
It came down to 5 seconds, the gap, after they went for that FTS segment. Teugels really stayed steady through that, and now let's see if he's going to start growing his advantage, and he is. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the guys are showing a lot of spirit back in that peloton, Nathan. Lennert Teugels is a known quantity here. He's gone into a steady state effort. They're almost in 2 different bike races right now.
They're doing 59.60 here. He's doing a steady 63. It looks like 65, 65.62.
Just a little bit more than the strongest guy back in the peloton has been doing. He's not opening up and just slamming it and opening up a 15, 20-second advantage. He's grinding them right now.
We do have a few riders that are on the lap circuit ahead on the positions. Apologies on that, everybody, but you do need to keep an eye there on Teugels there at 7.1, 7.6, it looks like, as the data is coming through. He's keeping it consistent at that 7 second. Now, the climb out of Yurikazi is going to be the main place that we may be able to see any kind of real differentiation in the time. Also, this flat section, though, if they don't work together behind and they have a little bit of infighting, that's also going to be an area where he will be able to gain a lot of time. So from here all the way to the top of the climb into Neokyo, that's going to be a major section for him to really put this work in.
So tide pool is an FAL, and the finish is effectively FAL points. So he's not going to have to face that FTS surge again, Nathan, and he should be able to pick up top points at both opportunities. So I think that Teugels has gone all in at this point.
I can see a little chat coming
really
through.
Can't lose. He's going to get a great workout one way or another here.
Yeah, and I'm actually hearing that. I mean, looking at the RPMs, this makes a lot of sense, actually. He is at 60 to 65 RPMs, and I get the sense that he got warmed up at the front end of this and then started into a force workout, a strength force workout, low cadence, steady 65 RPMs all the way through here at a high power. This is probably like threshold power for him. Solid force work. I like this. This is something I would actually put in for my coached athletes. Very cool to see.
And the gap's gone to almost 10 seconds now. So the plan is working.
Yeah, as we do have an update on the data on the right-hand side, as you can see there, it is now correcting itself. So apologies on that again, but it does look like we are getting the positions coming on through as it does correct. And Teugels here, now as Dave had just mentioned, does have a solid 10 seconds. Will he be able to continue on? As it looks like Baines now comes to the front of the chase group, and I think he is going to only increase this now from here on out.
Oh, when it finishes, it'll be over 40 seconds is my guess. Because they're going to start racing in a different mode. They'll be looking for FAL points, and you're not going to be picking those up by chasing Lennert Teugels. Watch how quickly this balloons now.
Yeah, that's really good, David. I think, we do see these little attacks coming out here. Tim Sanders, I'm seeing.
Doesn't affect
Lennert,
Lennert,
and this is going to be a kick and then back off, and a kick and back off. And the only way that we really see anything, is if they got a group of 3 or 4 that really wanted to work together, but otherwise it's just going to get covered and killed, and everyone's going to look at each other again and again.
Yeah, I mean, you have to organize a chase. It can't just be in spurts and fits. You really have to have a plan, and that's not what they're doing now.
Morse, now, it looks like, trying to cover Ruiz. It's going to be Relentless again, moving to the front. Who's that from Relentless now? That's J-Dub again, covering INOX, as it looks like Relentless are very much interested in this points race out here today. Grenier, how did he go on that fastest through segment? He took those first 2 segments. I'm going to see if I can get a look here at the preems over on SwiftPower.com to get a better idea of how things played out on those. As I'm looking and seeing, first over the line was on the Shisha Sprint Lennert Teugels. Mike Morse got that second as we saw, but the fastest through segment on Shisha was actually Ronan Racoult and then Kaj Emmanuel. Mike Morse took third, even though he was first across the line. So they set up their leg on the sprint a little bit better than Mike Morse did.
Well, there you go. It's subtle when you look at that FTS. It really, when you're looking at even though it's a smaller group that we have here today, you really do have to look at where they started in that segment to get a feel for the delta or how much they were able to.
It was a half second too. It was a half second actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Looking through, it looks like now Racoult actually, is this going to be, we'll have to figure this one out here. But he may have been the fastest in the A's. Now this is a nice little attack from Grenier. Liking what I'm seeing here. Good move through the tide pool. Here we go. This is it. Is he going to he's going to get caught. Morse. It's Morse. Oh, Morse just nips him at the line. Oh, man. Grenier went from way out, too. I'm going to get a replay on that one because that was very tactical, wasn't it?
Right. That was an FAL point scoring opportunity that they just went through. So now the rinse and repeat process begins. As you can see, the guys who just scored max or were up there in the top 5 have backed off now. Lennert would have gotten the top points, obviously, as he came underneath that gantry.
quick little look at how this played out. As you can see, Grenier with the very early move. Look at that go. And he went from, right where the official sprint section starts. Now, it's not FTS, so it doesn't matter that that's where it starts, but that's really far out to go. Now, Morse gets a little bit of extra there from the relentless draft. That carries more speed. The arrow power up then wears out for Grenier. And Morse able to hold on, almost overtaken, though, from the ESRT rider. Nicely done from Mike Morse. That's the second, across line from the main pack there. He's able to grab. Now, it doesn't matter for the one over the top of the Shisa, but it definitely mattered there for Tidepool, didn't it, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, let's pick up the action now. Back with the peloton here.
They're going to be climbing here now, and this is going to make things a little bit different when it comes to this climb up and out of Urikazi. Teugels now continuing on his force workout, 62 RPMs, as you can see, 423 watts. Very solid effort here coming from Teugels.
My guess was 40 seconds at the finish. What do you think, Nathan? You take the over or under on that?
Oof. Over. I think he's going outside of 40 if they keep on letting this go. I'm going to go with 55 seconds? I'm going to go with 55.
He's taking 12 seconds a kilometer right now. So.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. Teugels, the monster. Lenny is flying. Great to see it. And goes to show.
He's going to lap them out here. Lennert Teugels is a monster, no doubt about it. Great to see him out here racing, just getting in a good pre-Christmas workout there. I assume he's home in Belgium.
That's a good assumption, I would think. Ruiz now making his way to the front. Relentless covering it again. That's kind of been their forte, I've seen. Mutant then tends to cover. If we're going to stick with the counter, Mutant has kind of been countering these moves that any INOX riders have been throwing out the front, or Relentless been throwing out the front, and then getting covered as well by the other teams. It's essentially the team dynamic that's out here. INOX in that black and neon that you can see there on the front now. Relentless in the white kits. And Mutant with only one rider left, actually, from what I can see. That's going to be Sanders in the green.
Nathan, for these guys back here, too, not to throw any shade on Lennert Teugels, because I'm not, but what he's doing is separate from the GC race here. So if you're here for the winter tour, looking for 21 days of racing this winter, Lennert Teugels' day will be an outlier during this long journey of racing. But they don't need to take the bait if you're racing for GC. That's not your problem.
100%. Not your problem one bit at all. Letting him go is the name of the game today, unless you're able to grab onto that freight train leaving the station. Relentless
that
now
would
with
have been
J-Dub.
the thing, right? Take a huge GC advantage by using him as a locomotive. But that might be one bridge too far for most human beings to try to hold Lennert's wheel on a force workout day.
This is what I was talking about. Mutant, they cover, or they watch the cover, and then they counter over and over again. They've really been trying to make these moves, but being the only Mutant rider that's left in this front group, is this too risky?
Well, we will see, but I gotta love the riders that's going to roll the dice out here. Stringing the group out, no doubt about it. Charlie, it looks like Bishop is going to try to get up there. We do have a 3-rider group, and actually going right by is going to be Bishop. Well, said that a little too quickly here, as it looks like Sanders might be able to latch on, and he does. So let's see if this can become a workman-like group of 3.
He covered and killed, though. He went right down to 260 watts, it looks like. Rather than pulling through, he's just going to grab onto. See, that didn't look like, unless there was just nothing left in the tank. That could have been it as well, and he just needs a little bit of reprieve. We'll see if he actually works with the Mutant rider. Another rider coming across, it looks like that's going to be McLagan. Good to see it from the Canadian rider. The Galaxy rider that we were talking about earlier, that is going to be Charlie. He's still in it here on that white Tron. Great to see. 1, 2, 3, 4 riders strung out, though, as Mutant continues to press it.
Lennert at 36 seconds up the road. These guys are no longer thinking about that. It's really becoming a tactical slugfest back here now. Looks like the Canadian McLaughlin getting up there now. Good job, Neil.
Yeah, loving that. Great job by him. Loving the kit as well.
First time we've heard his name. I was just going to say the same thing. Great kit, great timing. So it's all coming together right now for Neil McLaughlin here. Way to Canuck up as he finds this front group.
P to Z kit. This is a cool kit too. They call it the Pac-Man kit because that little Pac-Man on the back. Is he going to eat them up, the ghosts here, just one by one? This is it's such a cool image, I think, actually, in the bike racing too, because you can just kind of like, I even got the little sound bites in my head now as Pac-Man comes along and grabs the ghost as Relentless presses on the front. Charlie coming across now. There's a lot of separation here, Dave. Now we've got, this is kind of OSS here, isn't it? The ship is leaving.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we might have a 7-rider group now that'll be gobbling up a lot of those finish line points. That's the last opportunity to score out here today. We did have 5 different, so 2 FTS, 2 FAL, and the finish line would count as an FAL as well. So they've made that split now. So for your race scenario, Nathan, I'd ask you to help me understand how many K of racing to the finish line now. But I think one thing's for sure, the Teugels ship has sailed. These guys are in a battle royale for spots 2 through 8, and then you've got the rest of the hitters back in what would really be Group 3 now.
This next section right here is going to be absolutely crucial because everyone that's in this group, their heart rates are going to be really high. They're going to be in the hurt locker a little bit, a lot of lactate in the muscles. But if anybody has anything to give right here, if they can kick, they could split this again right here and now because of the kind of pressure everyone in this field right now is in. The speeds are going to slow down. The differentiation can be great through the dirt here, and it looks like that's exactly what the mutant rider at the front is doing right now. It looks like to me as Sanders presses, well, you're going to need orange numbers. This is more like chasing or solidifying this group numbers. You're not going to split this group necessarily here unless Charlie can't hold on, but I think the mutant rider here now with Loughlin on the back and Relentless is just solidifying this. Where's Grenier? I'm surprised, unable to make this front group.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised too, Nathan. Although it's not over, that next group is not all that far back. They still got a lot to race for here. Boy, it is just gone berserk out here now. Hard to call every man for himself at this point. There's Michael. Found him.
Grenier, who is he with, and what's the watts per kilogram that they're doing here? Only 4.4, it looks like. I think the towel has been thrown at this point to this group, I think, Dave. I don't think they're coming back to that front group, as it's going to be Charlie here sitting in. Well, now that they've got the gap here, Sanders, is he going to continue on? That's the big question. If he does not, and there's no impetus in this group, they're going to end up slowing right on down. I'm only seeing 3 watts per kilogram or so. Now 4.8, but that's not the kind of speed you necessarily need to keep that group from behind. It's only 3 riders, though, and I think with that kind of distance, they're not too concerned.
Yeah, well, they're going to stay on the gas back there, but I think you're right, Nathan. At that, back to our leader now. So here's Lennert Teugels. Well, if you took the over, I think you're in the money. So he's going to be coming up on a minute out here, the advantage that Teugels will have when this is done and dusted. Command performance from Lennert out here today in our winter tour, day 2. Welcome to the finale.
About 500 meters or so, 595 meters to go to the line. And it's just an uphill grind, really. It's an uphill finish here. Not really sprint necessarily. Uphill sprint for the group here. But Teugels here going to get his workout in and finish up. It's going to be... Is that going to be right on the 51? They might bring it back to 40, though, Dave. You might be pretty close. We'll see. No, you don't think so? You think?
No,
I mean, this.
No chance.
Dave's like, all right.
0 chance that it comes back to 40.
Am I going to be right on the 55? Here, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. 161 meters to go. There's the finish line. Round the corner. This one's so hard for the time. It'd be an interesting sprint in a moment here.
Yeah, and that's really what we're setting the table for here. Let's give a congratulations to the Belgian superstar. Is Lennert Teugels taking the win, but here we go.
Early move from Charlie. Very early move. He's got distance. They're not responding, really. He might have done this. This might be over. 2.8 seconds, 9 watts per kilogram. They can bring it back still, but the landscape is running out quickly.
He's got the right bike and the right hat, that's for sure. And I think that gap is going to, well, it'll be interesting. He's going to have to dig really, really deep. It's finale time. Big points at the finish line here.
There's the group behind. There's a little bit of a downhill kick here for a second. No, he's got it. It looks like to me they're not really kicking now at this point. There's the kick. He's got it easily, though. They're not going to make the catch. Nice job from Charlie here. Godolt's not going to be the one who can take it down. It's actually going to be ahead of him. That's going to be the ESRT rider. We'll get exactly who the finishing order was in just a moment. We'll get a replay of that as well. Who was that rider that came across the line there in that second place? Who is the ESRT rider? We were not keeping good track of that, actually. Let's see if I can figure out. Oh, it's going to be DeSmet. DeSmet from ESRT taking that third place for the podium.
Well done. Well, all right. Winter Tour. That's a lot of fun to watch. We'll be back next Monday, with coverage. But they have been racing. It's not just Mondays. It sounds like they mix it up a little bit, racing on Mondays and Fridays throughout the week. But here is 43.57 seconds for Lennert Teugels to take the win out here today. Charlie going to come through in second. It'll be all about the points out here today, but we've got our GC battle. As I said, they are fighting in a lot of different battles out here. King of the Mountain sprint competitions, but Charlie good for second on the day. Mathieu DeSmet, as Nathan mentioned, in for third. Simon Gaudreau for fourth. Thomas Bayan for fifth. Neil McLaughlin in sixth today. Bishop for seventh. Julian Debuisson in eighth. Tim Sanders ninth. And then awesomely average Wilson taking 10th.
I love that name. Awesomely average Wilson. Very cool. Love the humor. Now, everybody, if you do want to join in with us next week, Glasgow Crit Circuit going to be a very different type of racing from what we just saw on the Country Coastal, as it's going to be kick after kick after kick over that Clyde kicker and through the Champions Sprint. So here, Monday, December 30th, 18:05 GMT. The race starts at 18:15. Dave, I'm super excited for that one.
Yeah, can't wait. Looking forward to seeing you back next week, and have a very happy holidays out there, everybody. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll see you before the new year next week. Again, jumping in with Team INOX. If you want to, head on over to their website, teaminox.it, for the winter tour. And as always, from Dave and I, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and ride on.